Hello everyone, good morning, welcome back to Gwent. My name is Rooster and this is Radovid Control. It's a deck that's been away for a little while with the introduction of the new cards in December. Radovid kind of fell out of favor, but he's back in full force right now, along with a few new faces. So let's take a look at the deck first and then hop into some games. Now, the main culprit here, of course, is Yennefer the Conjurer, who is a really useful card, as we saw in the Radovid Control deck earlier. Mostly for setting up really nice Scorch attempts, but also, in general, a useful card just to soften up your opponent's board, makes Lacerated a really useful card in removing stuff. Ballistas are now actually quite viable, because they now deal 3 damage up from 2. So that makes them actually quite good, especially in combination with other cards. And as well, we have the Gwent Siege support, who has been buffed from 2 up to 3 strength, which makes him one of the most valuable Northern Realms cards in the game right now, at 9 strength for a bronze card, which is really useful. We've also got the new Northern Realms common, the Temerian Foot Soldier, which adds a lot of strength in round 1, and that comes with the tactic of the deck right now, which is to really go pretty ham in the first round, trying to win that one at basically any cost, and then controlling the board on the second turn, drawing some cards, hopefully with Stennis, with Ciri, with using Philanthropic to make it hard for your opponent to catch up during that turn, getting card advantage that way, and then hopefully with the few cards that are left, winning the third round. So that's basically what's up with this deck. The latest version also includes Roach, so I'm trying it out for the first time right now. And you could consider adding Vernon Roche. I don't have the card yet, I'm not really sure whether he's worth including, but he's pretty good at shooting down opposing Yennefers, as long as they're not also Northern Realms decks. So that's the main reason for his inclusion, but we'll see how it goes from here. Hopping into the ranked queue right now, hopefully my connection issues won't cause a problem right now. That's the main reason I've been avoiding ranked as of late, but I have played a little bit. So we are at around 1600 right now. We'll check after we've played a few games where we've ended up. And looks like there are actually some people in the queue, so that also helps. Up against Dagon, that's a level 52. A lot of high-level players by now, but the official news on the closed beta, or actually the open beta introduction, did help in making people more motivated to actually play ranked, as well as also playing more in general, because levels actually kind of matter. Against Dagon, we kind of don't want to throw away our first light. The Ballista actually might be the worst card right now, so let's mulligan that one. And then we could mulligan for one more card, but I'm actually pretty satisfied with this hand, so let's not push our luck too far. In general, you probably should take... Actually, with both of these blacklisted, it's okay. With only one of them blacklisted, plus Roach, probably not worth it. With Crones on turn 1, we can actually fight Crones turn 1, mostly because they do not have all 3 of them, and it's kind of important to pull Roach also, so this is actually fine. The Fog, however, is going to be a little annoying. I'm a little concerned about that, but I think we'll play the Reaver Hunter regardless, just to see if we can get a trigger out of him, and then perhaps Clear Skies on the 3rd turn or something. Not entirely happy about this, but we'll see whether this is worth it. What's gonna happen here? Swallow Potion? Swallow Potion it is. Might actually be worth to Elzer's Thunder that. Is this even worth fighting for, I wonder? We could go for the Baron, which is quite a decent power play right now, and will help us win the round if he does not have any good removal. That could be worth it, and we can Elzer's Thunder later, although this is a good opportunity to do so because it will shoot both of the crones again. I think I'm actually willing to do that. And it's probably also the crone that he's going to keep for the next round, so yeah, let's go with this. See if he has another Swallow Potion, perhaps. Could definitely be the case. I'm not really sure what to expect. Oh, we're facing a Fogel attack here, alright. So in that case, do I really expect something like a Lacerate? Because that's what I'm kind of scared of right now. We could go with either Ogfist or Baron right now, and let's try for Ogfist. Actually, a buff would be good, and Baron might... Baron is also a gold card that will pull Roach in a future turn, which is... which could be helpful. Let's go with Ogfist and see if he has any removal. Because maybe the Baron is actually more valuable than the Ogfist right now. A deck like that usually does not include too much removal, although Old Spirit Tip certainly does the job. Kind of sucky, but we did pull one extra Reaver Hunter out of the deck, so that's probably fine. It will transform back unless we make 3 additional units. We can make 3 additional units, so that might actually be a good idea. Unless we plan to clear skies, but... well, we might clear skies, but in that case we want to fish for... a Ballista first, I think. Let's go with the Temerian Foot Soldier, which should keep the Old Spirit Tip at bay for now. And meanwhile, Yennefer the Conjurer is doing her job. Just slowly pecking away at our opponent's units, and that's just the way I like it. Are we able to win in one card? That's a good question. And that's an excellent Yennefer the Conjurer right now. Although it will start slowing down starting next turn. So we may wish to actually clear skies here. But that will revive Old Spirit Tip. So perhaps we should just... I guess we should actually Priscilla and hope to find a Ballista. That's not unlikely. Finding a Ballista and shooting Old Spirit Tip and then clearing skies next turn? I'm okay with that. We could just Fog again, but that's not as effective as it could be.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. And it's reasonably likely to find a Ballista. I think that's more worthwhile than resurrecting a Reaver Hunter right now. Let's go with this. Yeah. So let's see what else is in our opponent's arsenal. So Clear Skies, what does Clear Skies do here? It eliminates 9 from his side and adds 9 to ours, so that's pretty strong. Even if he rains here? What happens if he rains? Alright, so we can Clear Skies to get Ogfist back and win the round. That sounds like a good investment. We could also, however... Let's see. Yeah, we do want Ogfist back, so we don't want to pass. We want to play something. We could go with the Siege Support. But I think that Clear Skies is more valuable to us. We can't rally because if we find the remaining Reaver Hunter, that's not good enough. So I'm okay with this. Clear Skies here on the ranged drone. That also happens to give us one more Yennefer tick, which is fine-ish. Not incredibly excited about that, but does take away 1 strength from the Ancient Foglet that he's keeping for the next round. So that's, yeah. I'm feeling pretty good here, and we can Oh, that's an excellent draw. Alright. Not unhappy about that. We did not get a Philanthropic Mirth, but that's okay. We've got Stennis, we've got Siri plus Roach, which is nice, and then we've got a nice amount of cards for the next round, I think. Let's just see if... that's a decent amount of Foglets. So let's assume we both play a card here, and then we are 2 cards ahead of him for the last round. I'm pretty satisfied with that. And we can still see if it's worth...
stand before royal majesty.
I like the first light, to be honest, but the chance of getting a Scorch or something is also really valuable. So let's go with the blind card here. Dimeritium Bomb on the melee row, that is fine. Do we want to make him spend more cards here? I do think so. I do think so. And a good way to make that happen... He's keeping a Foglet right now, though, which is also valuable. And our Baron does get better the longer the next round is gonna last. We don't have a first light to clear any possible weather, though, so that's mildly concerning. Can we win? Well, we can always win with this amount of cards that we have right now. What are our resurrection targets? We can resurrect Priscilla, which is valuable, even though it doesn't do too much right now. You know, I like just... Let's spend Ogfist. Ogfist is the least valuable card in our hand right now. Forces him to play another card. Just something valuable out of his hand, and then we can now safely pass, because every card in our hand is actually pretty good. He's still keeping just a regular Foglet, if I am correct about this. Yes. So keeping nothing for the next round, he has 5 cards. We have... Oh, we don't have Siri anymore. Oh, of course. Well, we still do have the guard advantage, so I'm reasonably okay with this. Although I did miscalculate there, but we should be reasonably okay. Another advantage of using Roach here, again, is that Lubbokin actually has a target if you use your Baron right as the first card, so that's excellent. We have the first light, so feeling good about that. We can shoot the ancient Foglet. Feeling good about that one. We'll have to shoot him next turn or the turn after, but that's okay. We've got the clear skies to solve this problem. So I'm feeling good about life right now. What should we resurrect? Probably going to be Priscilla, isn't it? Priscilla finding a ballista is just as fine as
Thank not me. Thank
just resurrecting a ballista, which is fine.
Let's show him what real...
We could have actually resurrected Siri last turn. We maybe should have. Maybe we should have. Let's just play the ballista here. Shoot the ancient Foglets. Another Thunderbolt Potion, and now we... I think we're actually fine in clearing the sky here. He could have Fog, but he can't possibly win if he has Fog, so that's fine. And that's the risk of relying on Foglets. Alright. That was a good top deck, although Scorch would have done the same thing, so... Not feeling too guilty about top decking our opponent right there. Although that certainly was a most welcome top deck, I will admit. Alright, crawling up the ranks. So let's see what else is up there. Weather Monsters, not particularly scared of that one. I'm actually curious about that one because, well, that's not a deck you see every day. It's mostly a lot of Radovid Mirrors, I think, and the occasional Nilfgaard, the occasional Skellige player, I guess. Any other decks that I'm forgetting about? Consume Monsters, relatively popular. So let's see what we're
It
up
is how I
against here.
punish those who irritate me.
The mirror match, I'm okay with that.
With him.
Alright. So mulligans did become a little bit more challenging with the addition of Roach, but having Roach in your opener is actually fine. Let's throw her away here, and we got a foot soldier. Drawing an additional foot soldier would kinda... Oh wait, we have 2 foot soldiers right now. Okay, so we have to mulligan that one. That is fine, man. That is absolutely fine. Basically a scripted mulligan there, but that's okay. What are we starting with in the mirror? I don't hate starting out with Ockfist. Ockfist less important than Ciri, I think. Could start with Baron, but that's... Baron is a flexible card. You can always use Baron in a small round on Botchling if you want to keep something for the next round. I think I'm starting with Ockfist here. And let's see how that turns out. I've also seen Radovid players use Trettenberth in the first round, which is curious and is kind of the reason that I'm a little hesitant to use the Reaver Hunters right away, because that kind of sucks to lose all of them to a Borg from your opponent. So we've got the Borg here. I'm expecting it to get shot maybe next turn even. Since our opponent doesn't really have anything essential to do. So I kind of like just using the siege support here. Bringing Ockfist up to 9 strength so he doesn't die to Radovid or Alzur's Thunder. And there will be time to use the foot soldier. So let's go and do that.
Trouble approaches.
He can Scorch him, but that's okay. If he uses Scorch on a 9 strength Ockfist, I think I'm fine with that. Because Scorch is a pretty valuable card in this matchup still. So chooses to shoot the Ockfist. In that case, it still does die. Still does die to Alzur's Thunder next turn. Is it worth using Priscilla here while we still have the foot soldiers in our deck? I think it is. I think it is. If there's a chance we can keep Ockfist alive with just another Kadwini siege support, then that's valuable. Is there anything else we want to do right away? Not really. The foot soldiers will come. The only unfortunate situation is when Priscilla finds a foot soldier and a Reaver Hunter, which is a little bit of a risk, but one I am willing to take right now. Using an Alzur's Thunder on his Reaver Hunter is also fine. I'm certainly not playing the foot soldier here, so this is mostly okay. Basically denying him 1 card. Filtered from his deck. He's using an Alzur's Thunder on Ockfist here. At least we tried. And he took a little bit of a risk using the first light, so he probably doesn't have a Ballista in hand, which is also sort of valuable information.
I don't want to die.
Maybe we should have used Baron at the start of this round. I'm not really sure. You can pretty much expect a Radovid mirror to go pretty long. So that would have been a decent investment, although it would likely just die to Ballista. That would have drawn some aggro away from the Ockfist though, so... Don't really know. We could actually still go for the Baron, since we know with relative certainty that he doesn't have a Ballista in hand.
This is no time to whimper.
Using a Scorch as an 8 strength... Huh. I'm not really sure about that. We could use Nenneke to revive Ockfist. We could also do that next round. That might be a little greedy. What does First Light get us? I think we want to use that at some point during this round. But the question is, do we want to use Baron... actually, we want to use Baron here, because we haven't found Roach yet. That's a good one. Yes, we haven't found Roach yet, so using Baron here is actually excellent. And using it on Lubberkin because we don't expect him to have a ballista, and this might just mean he has to give us the round. Unless he has Lacerate, I guess. But can't really expect that, I think. Using Ulcer's Thunder would be okay, but I don't expect him to have 2. So we're winning this round. We have Prince Stennis, we have Ciri. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Let's pass. So he decided he had basically no chance this round, and I can't blame him for that. But we are in a pretty good position for the remainder of the game, I think. We could even make a push for this round, although that might be a little risky. Should we use Prince Stennis first? Would he run decoy? Probably not. And we should probably use Stennis first in case we draw Borg with it, I think. That seems reasonable.
I'm not afraid.
So let's go with the blank. Double first light. Well, that's just as good as just using a first light, I guess. Because first light does filter a ballista out of our deck right now. We do have 2 more ballistas in the
How about a
deck.
game of Gwent?
We have 3 more ballistas in the deck, so these are guaranteed to find a ballista at this point. And that's a rather poor card from his side, so that's excellent. Ballistas will always find a target. We don't want to kill Priscilla, but killing or hurting the ballista is actually fine. We can pretend to have Scorch by leaving Stennis up, so I think I'm okay with that. And just spending some cards to make our opponent spend cards at this point. Just spending our worst card and make our opponent spend better cards, basically. I definitely want to spend Ciri at some point, and keep an eye out for the moment where we cannot win the round anymore, although that is still far in the future. We should probably Nenneke into Priscilla, but maybe leave that until after we've used the second first light.
Nasty wounds, those.
I think.
But you'll live.
He doesn't have a great option here, aside from doing that. And we could kill that. I don't know if that's valuable enough, though. Because we could, well, first of all, we could Radovid it, but that seems like a bit of a waste. If we're going to Priscilla, then we could also find the second ballista. That could be fine. Scorch could be fine. Let's go and filter out 1 more ballista and make him at least a little scared of us killing the Reaver Hunter. I think that's reasonable. So we definitely still want to use Ciri, and that also brings back out Roach. And if we can then resurrect Priscilla into Scorch, we could actually make a decent case for winning this round, which is curious.
There'll be nothing.
Or at least make him spend more than he's willing to. Should we go for the Priscilla right now? There is some value in killing the Reaver Hunter, although it is unlikely that we'll actually win this round, so perhaps we want to save the Nenneke for next one. Probably. Let's go with Roach right now. Just to have the extra card for next turn, or make him or force him to use his Radovid, which is also kind of okay. Because that would leave Yennefer unchecked for next round, which we're also okay with. Now, can we still win at this point? We could Nenneke into... I think that's pretty much guaranteed to be... Scorch. So assume we Nenneke into Priscilla into Scorch. That would be 18 strength, and with that we still make a pretty decent case for winning this round. So we can afford to Lacerate, and I'm using the Lacerate here because it is a rather poor choice going into the next round. So us winning this round would of course involve Radovid on Yennefer. And then Nenneke, Priscilla, hopefully Scorch. I'm not sure whether I'm making a miscalculation about that, but I think I'm not. And he's calculating right now what the chance... Well, he's gotta know that we're able to win this round, right? Because with just the siege support and Radovid, we're already on 17 strength. So we just want to make him spend something important here. And I think we're okay now. I don't think we want to take the additional risk. Because we basically have to kill the Lubberkin if we want to have a chance at winning this round. I'm actually okay like this. Let's pass. This means he goes first next round, but as long as we top deck a gold card, we get Roach. Top decking a gold card would be rather nice. We do have 2 more gold cards in our deck, and that is not a bad one. Alright, I'm kind of okay with that. I don't think we want to have Philanthropic Earth actually trigger. But that of course depends on what our opponent has here. How many cards does he still have in his deck? 6. So he's likely to also have a gold card at this point. It will kill Thaler, which is good. So suppose we Philanthropic Earth here, then it will most likely kill Thaler. And then we Nenneke into Priscilla into Ballista. I'm not the biggest fan. I think we actually don't want this to trigger, but he could also have one. I think that's actually fine. Let's Nenneke into Priscilla.
Again.
Or into Ockfist. No, that seems optimistic. I think grabbing the Ballista... Ballista is better than Scorch at this point. So let's go with this. Also make sure that we have enough targets for the Kadwini siege support at this point. Yeah, and Bork would just go and kill the Ballista, I guess. Bork at the moment kills the Ballista and Nenneke. With the siege support, most likely kills everything we have, so we might as well play our own Bork just to mop up the board with. Right? Right. This basically kills everything on the board, which might be the wrong approach, but we cannot play the Kadwini siege support before the board wipe happens. Ooh, killing Stennis is rather nice, though. So what does that mean? It means it kills the 12, kills the 5, kills the 4, kills the 3. So Priscilla survives for now. And that means we can also make the 3s survive, I think. But it also means that Thaler survives, so I'm not sure whether I actually... Yeah, making the 3s survive is actually still valuable? I'm not sure. Having 2 Barks on the table does actually make things a little awkward. What happens if I shoot Stennis? No, that can't be right. I can still shoot Stennis afterwards.
What do you want?
So it could be valuable, but I don't think so. Let's buff these 2, because the buffed units are always going to die. And then see what happens. I am not sure who's gonna be the winner here. Lacerate, alright. That means everything still dies. At the moment everything dies, right? So in that case we shoot his Bork and we have a bigger board afterwards. So it's gonna depend on his last card. Which, if it's big, then both of the 3s survive. If it's... That's a good one. That is a good one. Is it enough? He has a 9. Yes, it's a 9, so that is enough. Alright, well, that's a good top deck. I'm not sure there's anything we could have done about that, except maybe not play the Bork in a position where it could kill everything. I don't know. That was certainly unexpected. Alright, yeah, you're not really sure what we could have done better there, though. That's a curious one. I will have to examine that one a little closer to know what I've been doing wrong. Perhaps I should have pushed him a little farther in the last round. Anyway, let's play one more game and hope to find another matchup. It's always good to have 3 different opponents, but I can, of course, not guarantee such a thing happening. And the Radovid mirror, of course, is an interesting thing.
If it's peace you desire.
Alright, this is also an interesting matchup, so I'm certainly okay with that. And that makes for 3 completely different games, so that's exciting. Throw away a Reaver Hunter. We do not have a field... Oh, we do have a Foot Soldier. So that means we throw away Roach first. And then... So we don't have a risk of drawing Reaver Hunter or Roach, so I'm actually okay with taking this risk. Is First Light better than Ballista, or... I think Ballista is actually slightly better. No, First Light is actually slightly better because it filters the deck. So, took a little bit of a risk in drawing a Foot Soldier, but not all that much in my opinion, so I'm actually okay with that. Let's see what we've got here. What do we want to start with right now? I think it's just going to be a Reaver Hunter. We don't have the greatest set of cards right now. I would have preferred another gold card aside from Ciri. That would have been really nice. But for now, is there any way we can finagle that? There's no way aside from playing Stennis here. So we could give up the first round, but I really dislike that. So we better get some amazing card advantage out of that. Let's first push some buttons. Probably provoke a cow at this point. That is not a cow. Alright, and then that's a perfectly fine Scorch target. But perhaps he would like to Adrenaline Rush it first, so we can wait a little bit. He did that perfectly on purpose, so I'm fine with waiting just a little bit. Committing a First Light or committing Priscilla. Priscilla probably fine. Also leaves her as a target to be resurrected next turn, which is excellent. And I would prefer the Kadwini Siege support, placing him into the ranged row to protect the other things from cows. And spreading the strength a little bit to make us less vulnerable to Scorch, which is valuable. Does make us vulnerable to Igni, I guess, but we already were. Yeah, our middle row was already vulnerable. And also buffing the Reaver Hunter that was going to be... that still had an active timer going, so it cannot be taken out with Alzar's Thunder. If he wants to commit a Scorch just for taking out this guy, then I'm actually okay with it. We still have a Reaver Hunter in our deck, so I would like to not use any not Reaver Hunters. I would like to not use any First Lights yet, and this Ballista is actually perfectly fine. I'm really expecting him to Adrenaline Rush that guy, so I'm waiting for him to do that. And that means we can shoot this one. That might telegraph that we have a Scorch, or perhaps... what's gonna happen here? Yeah, he doesn't have a really good target for the Cow Tosser. Unless he kills something afterwards, in which case it's actually fine with this. So he could use an Arbalest to shoot the Kadwini Siege support and get 8 value out of his cow. But that is actually rather marginal, and I would be okay if that happened. To be fair, that's just a way of life. Let's use a First Light. Another Ballista. Let's shoot the... I don't actually want him to decoy the Rot Tosser, and I don't want to give him any incentive to. So let's shoot that guy again. If he decoys that one, that's actually pretty good value, because it gets to shoot another spy unit from his and gains additional base strength, so that's pretty strong. He cannot use that on the ranged row, so it will happen on the siege row. So this is a relatively limited value, which is fine with me. I'm a little scared of him shooting Priscilla right now. There is, however, not a lot we can do about that. So maybe we just Scorch right now. He doesn't have a lot of good targets he wants to keep for next round. I'm thinking about using another First Light and perhaps pulling a Siege Sergeant. I'm mixing up names. A Siege Support. If I get a Siege Support, I could buff one of the Ballistas, so even if he shoots Priscilla, then he doesn't get any amazing value. However, I also kind of like keeping a First Light around. It is kind of the only play we have right now, so I'm just gonna placing it, and hopefully in time to... Where do the buffs go? Over. Oh, that is actually wrong. I completely messed that up. Oh well. I just gave him 10 value instead of the 2 he was gonna get. That's great, that's great. So he's gonna shoot his own roach and get a random card from his deck. I messed that up royally, that's great. That can only go in the middle row, which we did protect, so that's fine. But I'm still a little miffed about this situation, because this cow is getting way more value than it should have. That is basically 8 value thrown away for basically nothing. However, we've got this Scorch here, which is gonna get used right now, because we do need to grab a lead. He still doesn't have any good Adrenaline Rush targets. I'm okay with this. A little bit of a shame, but such is life. We can get another buff on that, but that's not too reliable, so I would be okay with that happening. And we can at least resurrect Priscilla right now, which will find a Ballista or Ockfist. Did I forget anything? But basically Ballista or Ockfist. I kind of don't want to play Ockfist right now. Although it might provoke some removal spells from his side. It might actually be fine, but I'm inclined to just take the Ballista in that case. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, I'm forgetting Roach and Lacerate as well. Lacerate is actually pretty good here, so let's go with Lacerate. And hope not to draw Roach for next turn. That would be really sucky.
Peter Piper picked Prince Proximo a pack of pickled peppers by the Pontar.
And this might be a good opportunity to pass for us, because he's on board disadvantage, has to spend another card worth at least 12 strength. And none of these cards are cards that we actually want to use right now. Unless we use Ciri, pull Roach, and just not get a card from her. Which could also be fine, because drawing Roach is actually also pretty terrible. That means we would win on card disadvantage. We get one back from Stennis though, so that might be okay. I'm not really sure how to approach situations like this, where your opponent just blatantly refuses to pass. I kinda hate when that happens. But it's pretty likely that he'll go and pass right now. And that is fine, that is fine. Ciri won us the round basically, and that's okay. Because if we didn't play Ciri, then he would have played one card. Well, presumably if he has a card that is worth enough. Oh, that is an excellent draw though. Because he has to win this round. I'm a little hesitant on the Bork play though. Perhaps we should just Stennis and then pass. Because he has to play one card, we get one card back, that brings us to 4/4. Then he has to start next round, and we have Bork in play. He's already used... He's used Igni, and he's used Vilgefort, so that's 2 gold cards. I've used 2 gold cards also, but my deck is only 4 cards right now, and I'm drawing something with Stennis. I don't think I want to have Villain's Red and Mirth active here. So let's just Stennis and see what happens. Draw this one. And that would allow us to spin Ogfist for next round, which is excellent. Although it's kind of a non-combo with Villain's Red and Mirth. I'm not sure about that. That's a pretty strong Stennis you've got there. We might actually want to do the Borg spin here, because that could actually wreck him. I think that's worth a shot. Normally you shouldn't play cards in this order, but with a 24 strength Stennis on the field, I really want to make this work. So in that case, let's see, if we shoot here, then we have to play one more card, because we cannot just pass next turn. So that will likely have to be Ogfist. Kind of wasteful. I don't like it, but let's shoot K here first. Well, we do get another turn with K here, so perhaps we can make Ogfist work. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can do that.
Nasty wounds, those, but you'll live.
Where did that come? Oh, that's a Johnny card. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And that's gonna be a Cantarella, I guess? That's odd. So Borg, at the moment, kills Stennis, kills Borg. That's kind of annoying. But I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about that. I guess we kind of threw away Borg there, but if he loses his 24 strength unit, then I'm actually also fine with it. So, shoot Kair here. It's basically the only option we have right now. And he also cannot buff any of his units, or Borg just kills himself, alright. But that also means that it doesn't kill Ogfist, so we might be able to spin him, which is pretty sweet. Question. Can we actually beat the 24 strength Stennis here? We have 8 and we have 8 and 4. So that's 12, that's 20. We actually cannot beat the current board. Okay, that's a strong play from our opponent here. We cannot beat the current board, even if Ogfist returns to hand and is replayed. So that means we cannot bluff here. That was a strong play with the shackles in that case.
I warned you.
And that's... yeah, that's basically what I was afraid of. How do we beat that? That shackles really wrecked us there. Huh. Was there any way we could have seen that coming? Curious. At least we do have some pretty strong cards, but he does have the choice of the top 3 cards in his deck. Well, that's not great. Did he not mulligan that? Alright. In that case... I don't know if we have enough, but we have some pretty strong cards here. And the Lubberkin will have 2 additional buffs at the very least, so that's good. He will need a pretty good answer here. If he doesn't get a great card right now, then he could be in trouble. And I think he has no more gold cards left, or am I wrong about that? He has used K here. There could be 1 gold card left, so he could also bring out Roach if the gold card is between these 3. Let's see, we've got an 8 strength Ballista, we've got 8 strength Radovid, and 6 bonus strength from the Lubberkin.
The revolution is inevitable, really, in that.
So that is basically just a 12 strength. It might just be enough. It doesn't matter what he puts on top, because, well, he's not going to see that card. This is not enough, is it? It is 16 plus 6 more from the Lubberkin. I think we're just slightly short. Unfortunately. I think that is just barely enough. He just needed a 12. Unless we get an additional buff off of the Lubberkin, which I'm not sure about.
Killed for less.
Do we get one more? Yes, we do get one more, but it is just slightly off. Oh boy. We could have won if we shot the Stennis last round, actually. If we were expecting him to adrenaline rush the Stennis, we should have shot the Stennis with our Radovid power last round. Huh. Well, in each case, that was definitely some interesting games, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next week.